Remco, simply what happened when the rest of the peloton came down? What happened to you, and do you have any injuries?
My right side is pretty damaged, but no fractures. Otherwise, I would not have been here anymore. And yeah, what happened? I think guys in fifth, sixth position start to touch the wheels or just slid away. So and after that it was like a bowling. I don't know what happened exactly behind me, but I was really close to save it. But then from the left side there was a bike that came under my back wheel, and as I was braking, I just went like a front flip and landed on my head and my shoulders. So yeah, it was a pretty big bang, but in the end nothing too special from my side. So yeah, it was a bit of a bowling game.
We saw you sort of sitting on the grass at one point, just kind of looking dazed. What's going through your head at that point? Is there some relief, in spite of the fact that obviously riders did crash and had to leave the race?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the positive thing about my crash today, is that I didn't have to leave, or that I don't have to leave the race. But actually, I had quite a big touch on my knee. I think another bike just came straight on my knee, and it was quite painful. So I thought that it was worse than it is actually now. So, but yeah, it was a bad situation for the whole bunch. So just all my best wishes and speedy recovery to the guys that had to stop, or they're on their way to the hospital, unfortunately. So it's again quite a dark day for cycling, unfortunately.
This is a bad crash, and of course everything seems amplified with the Tour de France a couple of months away. Do you find it's just more intensity around everything, including within the peloton, and the nervousness?
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit special because the final was tricky, but in the end it was going to be a proper sprint stage. So we were just sitting in front, not really fighting to be in the first positions. And if you don't want to give space to another one, or you just slide away, it's just bike racing. But yeah, it was a bit unfortunate because the descent was not even tricky. So it's for sure there are nerves in the bunch. There is stress. You want to be in the front because it's rainy, slippery. But yeah, could this have been avoided? I don't know. Probably not. Maybe yes. But it's it's a race situation. Like everyone, like every situation can happen. So it's like I just said, another bad moment for cycling.
How do you find yourself mentally now after the incident you already went through? I know riders take a lot of bangs throughout their career. Do you find it mentally difficult at times? Are you worried when you're in tight bunches?
Well, for now, for example, it was. I mean, I was not angry, but it was just a bit like, wow, again, 4 days or 5 days into my comeback racing again. I was feeling a bit not upset, but just a bit annoyed, let's say, especially with what's coming in 3 weeks. I don't want to risk things at all, but yeah, I think it's racing nowadays. You need to, I mean, you don't need to go down, but when you go down, you need to stand up and try to fight back as hard as possible, and I think that's going to be again the case for the next days.
Thankfully, you look like you're all right. What's the initial self-assessment? How was it?
I mean, the only thing is, yes, I mean, I crashed on my shoulder. That is not the best, or that yes, I had a surgery a couple of years ago. So yeah, it's just this. We really need to check it and to be sure how in what kind of state it is. But all the rest, I mean, for me, definitely a lot better than for some of the guys. Because yes, I mean, I still rolled over here over the finish, but just shit that these things are happening.
Is there any worry that you might not continue in the race, or you think you'll be able to continue?
I cannot say really nothing. I mean, it's now just first go to the doctors, do a checks, and yes, I mean, then we see what to do next.
How does all this describe what happened? How the crash happened?
Yeah, I mean, obviously just the first guys went off, and I mean, couldn't really do much, or we didn't really have a lot of choice. We were just everyone down.
Derek, you okay? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, can we get a second? Derek, did you see anything that happened out there?
It was a very slippery road, and yeah, once a couple guys went down, it was just dominoes downhill. So
Everybody was grabbing the brakes.
yeah, for sure. I mean, you try and avoid it, but only so much you can do.
Right decision to neutralize the race.
I think so. Yeah, the amount of guys that went down was crazy. Yeah.
Thank you, Derek.
Rolf, crazy incident, and just 2 months after the Tour of the Basque Country too. It's not great to see, but it looked like everyone came out okay, thankfully.
I don't know. I think a lot of riders went to the hospital. So, but as you know, I'm not a doctor. I like no medical judgment statement or anything. It was just, yeah, a race incident. Unfortunately, it was super slippery. Super, you know, it was wet. It was super slippery. I don't think it was anybody's fault. But yeah, I think it was a lot of consequences for some riders.
Did you know right away that Primoz was okay, and how big of a relief was that?
Well, I don't know if he's okay or not. Like, I mean, obviously he crashed, and obviously now our doctor is looking after him. So we only know once medical staff had a look at him.
These scary moments in cycling, it was good to see the organization today neutralize the race right away. For you, was there another decision to be made that was, of course, the right decision?
Well, I mean, like, you know, it's pity for a little track who are chasing for a stage victory, and for Sam Bennett with GTR. But yeah, it was certainly, there were no ambulance cars, and for sure it was the right decision. And I think, you know, at the end of the day, I think the race only missed it by a kilometer, because if we get down to a left turn and it dries off a little bit, probably nobody would realize how bad it has really been. And but that's, you know, unfortunately part of an outdoor sport.
It's like waiting for a bus. They never pass, and then we have them happen quite often. That's the case with these crashes here. It seems like we have these big crashes here quite often in recent years. You've been around many years, Rolf. What have you seen over the years, and how does it stack up?
Well, I think, you know, always the most recent one stuck into our memories, and I don't really think actually it got much worse or better in either way. You know, there is more crashes due to, you know, road furniture, traffic islands, nervosity. But this kind of stuff, I mean, did happen in the past and will happen in the future, unfortunately.
Primoz is just seemingly so durable, though. It seems like he's a rider that may crash quite often, but he keeps going all the time.
Yeah, I don't want to think about it like now, like to see, like, I hope he's okay, and I hope he stays durable, and, you know, like, health is most important, always over success on the bike.
Thanks, Rob.
Doesn't affect too much because it's not our leader crashing, but still two very, very important helpers crashing, and yeah, if it would be that they cannot ride, we have to make new plans. But once again, we cannot say anything about that yet.
There is a good news on this Dauphiné that Matteo doesn't fail.
Yeah, of course, there's good news that 4 of our 7 guys did not crash. So also Bart Lemon crashed, but he was not affected too much. Of course, that's for the Dauphiné. The leader didn't crash, so that's good news. But on the other hand, yeah, everybody on our same team is the same, and every crash and everybody who's out is yeah, as bad as another one. And today, unfortunately, it hit Dylan and Stevie.
Did Dylan also have to go to the hospital as well? We saw Steven get into the ambulance.
Yes.
And were those 2 guys on the Tour team already? Were they announced on the Tour team?
We haven't announced our Tour team, but yeah, they were, of course, preparing themselves for the Tour, yes.
The team can't get any breaks, it seems, these days.
Yeah, that's true.
How does this affect, do you think, the Tour de France? I mean, how you guys are doing the planning and everything, because now you have to reassess everything.
Yeah, but we're in the process of reassessing because we also don't know whether Jonas will be in competitive shape. So, but that's just another piece of the puzzle, which is of course not easy and not easy to cope with.
Krisha, scary moments out there. Have you seen anything like that on conditions like that, and what could have caused that?
Yeah, it was a very, very big pile-up, and I think, at least looking to the road, looking to that descent, there wasn't a big problem. So in that particular thing, you cannot blame the organizers. It was wet, and apparently the roads were super slippy. But it's very hard to find that out beforehand, because when you pass there with a car, you won't feel it.
That's it. Yeah,
Thank you.
You having seen that Remco looks okay, or is it too early for that?
I don't know, they're still in the race, that's a good sign. It's more pity for the guys who are in the ambulances. and due to the fact that no more ambulances were available, they cancelled the race. I think it's a wise decision. But here there's nobody's fault, neat organization, not the riders. I was there on the last hill to help if it was necessary to give a bottle of a gel, and Remco dropped his raincoat with me, and 1 kilometer later they were on the ground.
So on the road where the crash happened, you could presumably see that it was going to be pretty dangerous.
No, because I was there 1 hour or more before on the place I had to do 600 meters for the top of the hill, and was there. And then suddenly a shower came, and of course the roads were wet, and then you saw what happened.
Patrick, it's crazy, and it's also a reminder of just 2 months ago in the Tour de Basque country. Is it?
I think it's different. Tour de Basque was also dry. I think I don't know what the guys have, and I hope they are well. But for me, the Basque crash was more harder.
It's a relief that Remco appears, at least at this point, to be all right, and most of the riders do, besides maybe Steven Kruijswijk.
We have no updates. 2 guys from Baarle-Kruijswijk are on the ambulances, what I heard. On the other hand, I don't know what happened with the others. I had a line with our doctor who's in the second car, and except hubby, who needs some stitches, but I can wait after the finish. I think the guys are more or less okay.